Hello, Robert Bastian here of Laryngopedia and Bastian Voice Institute. My subject is stopping smoking, and I'm not coming to you as a person with facts and figures and journal article studies. I'm coming as a practicing physician who has seen many people with larynx and throat cancer, or people at risk of getting those diseases who have successfully stopped smoking. And so I want to bring you the most important tips. Motivation is probably the first thing to talk about. Your motivation could come from the expense of smoking. If you're highly altruistic, you could think about the cost to society, which is estimated to be at 10% at least of our healthcare dollar that is caused by smoking. So that's avoidable expense. And for you as an individual, depending on the state you live in, your annual cost for smoking, if it's a pack a day, would be between $3,000 and $5,000, and that's a lot of pizza or a very nice vacation. But even more than that is your health. You might have begun to notice shortness of breath, or that you've got a morning cough, and so that might be worrying you a little bit. And it can be from your desire to live a long life and avoid heart attacks, lung cancer, emphysema, and all the rest, and so that you can be there for your grandchildren. Now, some people say to me, well, I've smoked so many years, I think I've done the damage, I don't think there's any point to quitting now, and that's absolutely false. Think of the risk of smoking as being a curve that begins rising very slowly when you're in your 20s and maybe 30s. Then you get out a little longer and the risk curve begins to turn upwards. The rise of risk per year is increasing more rapidly the more years you've accumulated. And of course, if you get to the point of being a long-term heavy smoker, it ends up being like a rocket at quite far in. But here's the good news. If you quit smoking, the risk stops rising, it begins to level off, and then after a few years it begins to fall. And it's been estimated that even for long-term heavy smokers, when you get out a few years as a non-smoker, as a former smoker, your risk of heart attack, stroke, lung cancer drops by as much as 50%. And so really a point to stopping now. Powerful reason to quit right now to stop further damage and reverse some of the effects of smoking. That's a powerful risk to stop. Now, there are tons of strategies to quit, and I'm sure you've heard them from family and friends. You've seen other sources online, and so my point here is just to try to give you a short, powerful list of what I've seen work again and again. So let's get to it. First, the thing I advise people is to shift your mindset. A lot of people who have tried to quit and have not succeeded, they get down on themselves. They feel like I must be a weak person. And so I think the first thing to do is to shift your mindset from I'm a weak person to saying I'm a powerfully addicted person. There's a big difference. If you're frustrated, understand that nicotine is regarded by some experts as the most powerfully addictive substance known to humankind. And I've seen the withdrawal process in people from heroin, that kind of thing. And I would say the withdrawal from that addiction is more impressive, it's more dramatic, but it's over after a day or two or three. Whereas the addiction from nicotine is a little bit more, the cravings go on a little longer. And so knowing that should remove the shame if you fail. And so shift your mindset to strategy instead of self-blame. Now, the method that I want to talk about is really the cold turkey method, but it's cold turkey method with a plan. The plan is really important. So the first thing I would suggest is to add a very small change to your schedule that is the proxy, that sort of is the signal, the keystone idea of discipline or the new me. But make it something easy. I'm going to make my bed every morning, or I'm going to walk around the block just before I get in the car each morning to go to work. I'm going to meditate for 3 minutes a day. I'm going to do simple stretches for 3 minutes. When I get to work, I'm going to climb the 2 or 3 flights to the office rather than taking the elevator. I don't mean you have to do all of those things, but pick something that becomes a little focus of sort of the new me, the idea that I'm living by strategy. Then pick a quit date, and somewhere between 2 and 4 weeks in advance, because you need some time to prepare. Preparation is mindfulness. Become intensely mindful of every cigarette you smoke and try to pinch down the number and begin to become aware of the associations. So also, I think it's a good idea to begin, even during your run-up to the quit date, begin making yourself delay by 10 minutes. When you say, okay, I'm going to smoke, set your watch timer and wait 10 minutes. You're accumulating some mini quits. You're quitting for 10 minutes, sort of, and sort of adding that to your understanding of yourself. Then make it inconvenient to smoke. Go through the car, the house, your clothing, your coats, your purse, and get rid of stray cigarettes that you may have lying around, so that during the run-up to your quit date, you have only the single pack of cigarettes that you're smoking and nothing, there's no backup, there are no stray cigarettes anywhere else. That single pack, put it somewhere very inconvenient. Put it in the car, in a cabinet, in the garage, put it even in the tool shed at the edge of your yard, so that summer or even winter, when you're going to smoke, it's really inconvenient. You have to get your coat on and go to the edge of the yard and open the tool shed to get your pack of cigarettes. And then break the associations. If you tend to smoke with coffee, or you're reading the newspaper, or reading your news on your tablet, try to break up those associations. Go on a media holiday, or even cancel your subscription, so that you break up those associations, even with people who smoke. So if you have a spouse who smokes, explain to him or her what you're doing and say, could you please try to not smoke in my view, my line of sight. I don't want to smell the cigarette smoke, and I don't want to see you smoking. I'm trying to break up that association, because in the past that's a trigger for me to smoke too. Now, let's say your quit date arrives. Tell other people that you're quitting, and please don't nag me, because I might not succeed the first time I'm going to quit, but it might not happen the first time, so please don't. But I just want you to know that I'm quitting smoking, and then destroy that last pack of cigarettes and make sure you have no backup pack lying around. And then keep using the techniques of distraction and delay. You're not delaying before you smoke, but you're just using that idea of, I just want to see if I can get through the next 10 minutes. The cravings for nicotine have an ebb and a flow. And if you wait 10 minutes, you'll often find that the craving subsides somewhat. And track your progress. So let's suppose you don't succeed. You might the first time, but let's say you don't. Don't panic, and again, don't talk yourself down. Remind yourself this is a powerful addiction, and many people fail. They try and they fail, and so just say, okay, here's I failed. So what did I expect? And then be sure that you learn what you can from the failure. What was it that triggered your giving in? Was it stress, fatigue? Was it social pressure? And then set another quit date. The quit date needs to be soon. Some people, nobody likes to fail. That's a bad feeling, and so people who quit smoking sometimes will avoid quitting again because they don't want to fail again. And so they'll say, well, I'll quit in 6 months. Don't do that, because if you need to quit 6 or 8 or 10 times, think of the amount of time that will pass. If it's 8 times, that's 4 years. Whereas if your quit date is 10 days in advance and you quit 8 times before you succeed, that's 80 days, which is just under 2 months. So make your next quit date soon. You'll naturally sort of try to pinch the number of cigarettes, making your next attempt easier, and so try again. And if you fail, see what you can learn from your failure, and then set your next quit date for not more than 10 days, and just keep on quitting. And recognize that even to consider quitting, I think, puts you on the path to quitting. So to quit and fail, that you're still on the path to quitting. If you do this cycle quite a few times and you just can't break free, that's when you want to call in the reinforcements. Those are things like varenicline, that's Chantix, or bupropion, which is Zyban, nicotine patches or gums. I forgot to mention earlier, quit line. There are quit lines that you can phone during your attempt to quit. You know, you're just about to give in, so you make this phone call to a quit line. So look those up, and just keep reminding yourself, I'm not weak, I'm addicted, and I'm on a process here. And I maybe won't arrive today, but I'm on the process. I'm on the path to quitting, and I'm gonna get there. Now, others who watch this video may leave you some helpful comments, and just take my encouragement. I think you can do it. Just keep quitting until you succeed, and don't give up. And thank you very much for listening.